Hi, my name is Ryan Supas, and this is Module 6 in EDL 852. And this slide presentation is about why we must all become digital citizens. And of course, to understand why we must all become digital citizens, we have to understand the reasons that students need to be educated in digital citizenship. The number one reason why we must all become digital citizens is because of the fact that we are all leaders. We're all important in this process. We all need to take this journey together. And when I say all, I don't just mean administration, I don't just mean teachers, I mean students, and I also mean families. The most important part of this whole group of people is, of course, the families, the community, um, how they, outside of school, how technology is used too. And the only way that we can change how technology is used outside of school is, of course, to educate students while they're in school. Number one is the responsible use of technology. And then, of course, number two is how are we going to teach this digital citizenship? One of the quotes to start off with by Badar is educational leaders should provide digital leadership to students to develop their digital citizenship skills in educational environments. And I think that is a very important quote. You know, we can't change anything about the students by using technology in the classrooms a little bit and then sending them off home, with the technology, or letting them use their technology in the home and just it's a kind of a free for all. We can't do that. We need to, and we are required to make sure that they're educated about digital citizenship. On the first part, responsible technology usage. This component, students are more and more having to handle their own privacy. They're not taught a huge amount of privacy and being safe and creating a balance in school. Uh, Once in a while, you'll hear of schools that, in fourth grade, they'll talk about digital citizenship or being safe and secure on the internet, and they'll have somebody come in and talk to them for an hour about it. And then every fourth or fifth grade class, that's part of their thing. Uh, that's not how we should be doing this. We shouldn't consider a a certain grade like a rite of passage to learning digital citizenship. Digital citizenship should be something that is learned very early on. You would be surprised how many students, even in pre-K, use computers, they use phones, tablets. Most of the time, kids nowadays in pre-K and even kindergarten, they use technology more than us adults do, and even more than teachers do sometimes. If you've ever had a problem with an iPad, I've seen it in kindergarten classes before, where a student actually helps a teacher, hey, this app won't close or something's not working. I've seen the students help with this. So it's just something that we need to teach very early on. And I wouldn't be opposed to something like this being implemented as early as kindergarten. Uh, so privacy and balance are very, very important with responsible technology usage. Privacy includes many different things. It doesn't just mean keeping your information private, or making sure you don't put your name out there or your phone number or address out there. Privacy and balance include tons of different things, such as being sure that they don't share too much information, making sure that balance can be something, making sure they're not on it from the second they get home till when they go to sleep. They need to understand that there has to be rules, there has to be policy overseeing technology. And anymore, there is less oversight from parents. It's anticipated that uh, technology usage will be taught in schools. So this is something that we need to make sure that we relay to parents that, hey, this isn't just at school. We need to involve them so that it's continued on when they get home. Communication, students as young as kindergarten believe there's no limits. They believe they can jump on a device and do whatever they want to do. Students are put in a constant state of communication. Talking about seventh junior high, that is one of the most awkward years, and throwing technology into that, it just makes it worse, and it creates lots of emotional problems for kids. And that's a tough time in a kid's life anyways. So by giving them a no consequence, no self limits, putting them in a constant state of communication with other students, it just creates a disaster. So that's one another reason why we need to teach the responsible technology usage. The next one is awareness and safety. um, Awareness, safety, and of course the no limits on the last part of communications. Um, think of the news that the students have access to. Basically, putting a device in front of them, they're going to have unlimited access to news companies, to what's going on in the world, what's going on in our country. Our students as early as kindergarten are being there will be a pop-up about school shootings, about elections, about false news, things that they need to be watching for. They'll be on TikTok. And yes, I have seen kindergartners, first graders, and second graders on TikTok. um, they're being pushed information that may not be correct, or it might not be telling you the whole truth about something. So I think giving them awareness, or teaching them awareness, safety, communication skills, that there are limits, and then teaching them about privacy and the balance of technology is very, very important. More than 50% of young people carelessly publish their personal information, such as their name, age, and address, on social networking sites and chat sites, or using chat with people they have just met online. This is extremely important, and something that I have myself, and it's one of my shortcomings. I've kind of found that with my kids, my son, he is a 10-year-old, soon to be 11, and he plays Fortnite. And right there, that's a little bit of a red flag. Should a student that age be playing, or a kid that age be playing violent games, shooting, that kind of stuff? But to move on from that, um, at any given time, there will be people he's playing with and using chat. So you just have to be aware of all of that and the safety issues that come with it. Every student, with responsible technology usage, every person in this world has human rights. We need to make sure that we also protect their freedom, their privacy, their security, and in addition to that, we need to make them aware of the addiction that comes with this too, and the life skills that all of these life skills that we teach them, they're carried over into adulthood. And I believe that's, I'm going on a little bit more about this, but this is something that I really believe in, is how responsible we are to teach technology usage. But if we look at grown-ups, people our age right now, we didn't grow up with technology like this. I can't speak for everybody because I'm 45 years old and taking more classes, but we don't understand some of this. And it's so easy, and I've heard it millions of times, for a teacher to say, hey, I don't like to use technology in my classroom. I like the pencil and the paper. I like to do paper tests. That's a wrong thing to do. Students are not interested in working with paper all the time. They don't want to grab a pencil and do their tests and all their homework in a certain class, that way. They want to integrate technology. They want to use technology. There's nothing wrong with a student doing something in a Google Doc and turning it in. The teachers need to be open to that, and it's something, these kind of skills, if we teach them early on, they're going to carry over into adulthood. With responsible technology usage, we need to educate the students. Um, we need to ensure that um, digital citizenship is ingrained in them. We need to teach them that privacy is modesty. And what I mean by modesty is that they should share limited amounts of information with people. They need to be aware of false news. They need to consider their sources, depending on their age, of course, and that they need to limit, you know, uh, their technology and not necessarily be on it all the time. And one big thing with students or kids nowadays is avoiding indecency. You know, it's easy to say, with Snapchat or some of those that, once you take the picture or you give the information out there, oh, it disappears. Oh, it doesn't disappear. Nothing disappears. You can delete something, but if somebody took a screenshot of it or if they recorded it, it's going to be out there. So there's knowing that you nothing is private that you put out on the internet is important. We need to empower students. We need to give them access. These are some of the key things that should be taught in classrooms, or some of the key things that we need to be doing is we need to make sure that they have the access in the classrooms. 7 through 12 students, they should be allowed to take the computers home. Of course, if they've been properly taught digital citizenship. Students from pre-K all the way up to sixth grade need to have access to the technology. Uh, there needs to be different levels of access in pre-K, kindergarten, all the way up to maybe second. iPads are a terrific resource that need to be monitored. They need to have software on to keep them safe and secure. Then, up from there, Chromebooks are terrific. And the reason why I say Chromebooks is because, something we'll talk about here in just a little bit is policy. Uh, Ensuring that the students are safe on their devices integrates with policy. And Google products are terrific because they allow for you to administer the products and to keep track of things. Uh, Item number 2 is etiquette. They need to be thinking of others, not just themselves. And that's why I believe adults that are older than 35 and have a problem with etiquette. Um, it's not always right to say everything that's on your mind. Sometimes you need to just stop, think about what you're saying, and be etiquette's very important. Fluency, something that needs to be taught. Making good decisions, understanding, like I've said before, realizing what's fake news and not taking everything they see uh, like it's true. Number 4 is we need to ensure health, that we're aware of health issues and that the parents are and that students are aware of it too. There's a lot of physical and psychological things that are going on with technology that we haven't had in the past. And another thing is rules, the digital behavior. This comes in with policy too. They need to understand that there are consequences for not using technology properly, and that needs to be enforced. Security and privacy, they just need to understand what is out there. These are items that we can be teaching, and they're key items that need to be taught in our classrooms. Digital citizenship should be top of mind during the planning and purchasing process to fully implement it into instruction. This is more of a director or a leadership administration thing. Policies need to be set. The technology that's bought needs to be integrated with those policies to ensure that they're implemented properly. And then from there, you need to have training for the staff. So it's a trickle down effect. It's something I've talked about before in some of my slides. 2, teaching digital citizenship. It's not just something that needs to be in the classroom, it needs to be in our community too. To teach digital citizenship, we need to ask a few questions and then we need to provide a few things. We need to know when is the best time to be teaching digital citizenship. And I believe it's every single grade needs it, but it's different for each grade. Access, we need to make sure they have access. Do they have access? Do they have access at home? Or do they have, are the parents watching them at home? Obviously that's a hard question to ask, but some of these tools I'll go over here in just a bit are things that will help you with that. And we need to provide students with a one-to-one opportunity. Sharing devices and not having devices available can hinder integrating it into curriculum in the classroom. And of course, the biggest thing is we need to understand this is the 21st century. This is not 1990s or early 2000s where not everybody had a phone and not everybody was on it all the time. In a nutshell, digital citizenship is the safe and responsible practice of using digital technologies. I think that's a very important quote. So, how and when do we teach them? Um, how we teach them? We integrate it into curriculum. We fully integrate it into curriculum. We pair curriculum with policy. Uh, like I said a little bit ago, it needs to trickle down from the top. And even then, it can go backwards too. It needs to start in the classroom and go all the way to the top. It should be important at every level. And then we need to teach them, we have to teach ourselves. So professional development or professional learning is extremely important. And the need and desire to know that it needs to be integrated is very important. This quote at the bottom, acknowledge the unprecedented online challenges students face. That is a powerful statement. I think every teacher needs to understand that. So this is the tough one. How do we get parents, how do we get families to join in on this? Because if we're teaching this in school and they go home and there are no limits, everything that we're doing is mute. So it starts at home. We need to make parents and students aware. We need to introduce it early. We need to help parents become aware of the risks. We need to provide them with resources. And, we need to have conversations at many different levels, whether it's an administrator putting out a Google form or a director putting out a Google form to staff. We need to reflect, we need to collaborate on what steps we need to take to keep them safe and help them become good digital citizens. The next step is, starting at home, conversation. It needs to be open and honest conversation with students in classrooms. It shouldn't be a topic that's off limits. We need to have these difficult conversations about what can happen online and how we need to be safe. There needs to be digital citizenship check-ins at conferences for students. It doesn't matter whether they are a pre-K or a kindergarten student or a 12th grader. When you have a conference with a parent, let them know how their students are doing in school. Let them know that every time you turn around, they're not working on classroom, they're in a YouTube video. Or they don't know how to concentrate, they're always listening to music. Let them know that there's policies and that there's limits and that there's consequences. Let the parents know that they are not alone, that this is a 360, we are involved in this, they're involved in this, and the students are involved in this. And the best thing that teachers can do in the classroom is give family-oriented activities. Send things home with the students that the family can get involved in and that requires feedback from all the family. It can be something as simple as a little questionnaire about fake news, about are they aware? Many people with school-age children today didn't grow up using social media. That's an important quote that I found in one of the articles, and I think it goes back to mostly everything that I've said. When I was young, I didn't have technology. I was outside playing, and it's funny. I listen to older people like my parents, and they say all the time, if those kids wouldn't be on their damn phones all the time and they would be out, playing and stuff, this would be such a better world. You know what? It wouldn't be a better world. Uh, what we would be doing is we would be neglecting our kids and students by not giving them the tools that are in this 21st century. Okay, and obviously I've talked a lot because this is something I'm very, very passionate about. And, I've been in technology for most of my life. Started a business when I was about 19 years old, got out of education, and then slowly found my way back into education. So it's just extremely important that technology is important in education. And the CLO 2.1 correlation is my assignment correlated with the assignment of digital citizenship because it showed the need, desire, and responsibility. The articles provided in the assignment showed data that solidified the need of digital citizenship to keep students safe. And technology is here to stay, and today's students are reliant on it. It should be a part of our lives and their lives. Relevancy. 21st century learning should be a part of every classroom and should include unification of curriculum and policy. This assignment showed my knowledge of digital citizenship through correlation of material and integration in the slides. I have a great understanding of digital citizenship and the need for it in education and just about every aspect of education. Teachers around me teach digital citizenship, and I see it every day. And I see them teaching how to properly use the technology. I don't see as much teaching of awareness and responsibility. However, that is required. Reflection. As a leader, I will show my knowledge of digital citizenship and work on my weaknesses, as all classrooms will include technology and curriculum for digital citizenship. Targeted professional learning will be used to include everyone. Staff will understand the importance of teaching in the 21st century and the need for unification. That is all, and these are my references. Thank you, and sorry that I was rambling on a lot. Like I said, I'm very, very. Uh, this is just something that's ingrained in me.